Due to strong sexual content, viewer discretion is advised. Today on an all-new Dr. Phil, the first identified victim of the Fogle sex scandal comes forward.
CPS said your daughter is in videos and pictures taken in Russell Taylor's house that have been sent to Jarrett Fogle.
Yes.
A Dr. Phil exclusive.
You were 14. He was buying liquor and giving it to you.
Yes.
Are you concerned of anything that may have happened when you were really drunk?
Russell would come into the bedroom.
When you were naked?
Yes. I did not know there were hidden cameras.
The warning signs for every family.
He was had me convinced to have sex with him at 16.
How does an adult bring that up to a 14-year-old girl?
And
I beat myself up over it every day.
an emotional return.
What did he take from you in this house?
Now, from Indianapolis, Indiana, here's Dr. Phil.
It has been just 2 weeks since the disturbing, never-before-heard audio tapes of former Subway spokesman Jarrett Fogle surfaced here on this show. Now, for the very first time, one of the teen victims in the middle of the scandal that shocked the nation speaks out. When she watched our show with the former Subway pitchman blatantly discussing the abuse of children,
I love the middle school, and that girl was starting to get, you know.
she couldn't remain silent any longer. And so I came to Indianapolis to meet with her. In fact, we are outside the former Indianapolis home of Jarrett Fogle's close friend and former business partner, Russell Taylor. It is here that authorities say Taylor lured child victims into a twisted trap. One of those victims is the young lady who wrote me this letter. On the outside, Fogle's business partner, Russell Taylor, appeared to dedicate his life to helping children, heading up the Jarrett Foundation, a nonprofit organization founded by Fogle, where he visited schools and promoted healthy living. But on the inside, and inside this home, he was hiding dark secrets. After a massive law enforcement raid in April, Taylor was arrested, accused of making more than 400 child pornography videos, many of which authorities say Taylor shared with Fogle. Fogle, his partner in both business and crime, was arrested shortly after. Take a look.
The former head of an Indianapolis charity now facing federal child pornography charges.
Russell Taylor, the executive director for the Jarrett Foundation, has been arrested on charges of child pornography, child exploitation, and also voyeurism.
According to investigators, Taylor knew all 12 children he videotaped. Investigators also say Taylor got child porn from other sources, with victims as young as 6, and gave those to Fogle too.
One of Taylor's victims claims this home was offered up as a haven for children looking for a friend. Children who had no idea the house was wired to the gills with hidden cameras, which prosecutors say Taylor used to secretly videotape them naked, showering, and changing. And Alyssa says she was one of those victims when she was just 14 years old, an innocent child. She says she had no idea that Taylor was secretly recording her with nanny cams hidden in the bedroom, the bathroom, and other places where one expects privacy. She says he even hid a camera in the alarm clock in the bedroom.
Investigators say a tip sent them to Taylor's Wayne Township home, and inside they allegedly found photos and more than 400 videos containing child pornography. Investigators believe the videos were made using secret cameras in bathrooms and bedrooms of his current and past homes.
Documents show explicit images of children as young as 6 were uncovered. The documents also allege Taylor used hidden cameras and clock radios to capture images of unknowing minors changing clothes, showering, and bathing in his home. Investigators say he then distributed the images to Fogle and others.
The man who created and supplied former Subway spokesman Jarrett Fogle with child pornography has agreed to plead guilty in the case.
Taylor admitted to investigators he secretly videotaped a dozen different children naked inside his home, the youngest at just 9 years old.
When Aunt Alyssa heard Fogle's shocking confessions about luring and abusing children, this brave teen said she could no longer stay silent. She says she was compelled to write me a letter asking for my help in telling her story.
Dear Dr. Phil, My name is Annalisa. I will be 17 in December. My purpose for writing you this is because I want a voice. I was one of the victims of Russell Taylor and Jared Fogle. I had all of this happen to me when I was 14 years old. I have terrors, fear, and anger at the situation itself, not just because of me, but because of all the other innocent children as well. Please help me through this, Dr. Phil.
We're going to meet Annalisa in a moment and hear her powerful and emotional story. But first, I sat down with Annalisa's mother, Tara, who was the one who got the devastating call from authorities that her daughter had been secretly recorded, violated, and victimized by an adult she trusted. How did Annalisa meet Jared Fogle's business partner, Russell Taylor? And how did she come to spend so much time over there? Did they live nearby?
No, they did not actually. It was the place to hang out at the time.
But you never met Russell?
No, I did not. I met his wife.
Okay, what was she like?
I only met her a couple of times, very briefly. She seemed like a very nice person, seemed very trustworthy to me.
So you didn't see any red flags?
I did not.
That caused you any concern for her to be spending the night over there and spending so much time?
None at all. If I did, I wouldn't have sent her over there.
Was there anything going on at your home at the time that caused her to want to spend a lot of time somewhere else?
No, she just enjoyed being with friends at that time. Typical teenager.
And by the way, I have no information to the contrary. Everybody we talk to is a teaching tool, so I ask questions for parents to ask themselves when they're watching this to say, okay, do I know the parents of where they're staying? Have I met the father? Have I met the mother?
Yes.
I'm just doing this to help people.
Okay.
What was your reaction when you heard about this on the news? What in the world went through your mind when you flipped the TV on and heard this, or however you first heard it?
At first, it was like total shock, because you see all these stories on the news about pedophiles, and you think, oh, that would never happen to my kid, but it can.
Is that where you first heard it? Was on the news?
Actually, no. One of the other victims' mothers had called me and had asked me if Annalisa had been at Russell Taylor's house anytime recently. And I was like, no, it's been like a couple of years since she's been there. And she says, well, Russell Taylor's been picked up for child pornography, and they found a whole bunch of videotapes in his house. And I don't know if Annalisa was one of the girls or anything, but I'm just concerned if she was at the house.
And what was your initial reaction?
Disbelief and shock, because this was somebody that I thought I could trust to leave my daughter with. And I found out that I couldn't. And then it turned into anger, that they thought that he could do this and get away with it and do this to the other kids besides my daughter.
Did it occur to you right away that she could have been one of the victims?
It crossed my mind, yes. I wasn't like really totally sure on that. As a parent, you know, you're thinking, well, I wonder if that was my daughter and that those videos or photos.
Well, when did you find out what he had actually done to your daughter?
When the CPS contacted me.
What did they tell you?
They said that they found her picture in videos and in the house. She was in a really dark room with 2 other girls.
Okay, so did they tell you how many pictures, how many videos?
They did not, but they did say that she was part of the videos that were sent to Jared Fogle.
They confirmed to you that your daughter's pictures and videos had been taken by Russell Taylor and shared with Jared Fogle.
And possibly they said Jared Fogle shared it with them with one other person.
What was your reaction at that point?
Just the thought of somebody thinking they can get away with something like that. What makes you think you have the right to do that to any child, mine or anyone else's?
Did you know at that point that Jared Fogle had been arrested and involved in this pedophile child pornography scandal?
I had got that from the news.
How do you feel about Jared Fogle sitting in a house over here looking at naked pictures of your daughter?
I'm livid. There's really no words to describe how I feel right now, because I just...
And what do you think that does to her?
It destroys her self-esteem, her self-image.
Has she talked to you about that?
She talks to me about it all the time.
Speaking for other parents, is there anything that you could have done differently?
Yes, just made sure I knew more about Russell also instead of just his wife. I'm learning now you can never be too careful who your kids are around after all this.
Now, her father, he leaves all the parenting decisions to you, right? He has no custodial role with her at all. Right. He leaves everything to you. And you support her speaking out, right?
Yes, very much so.
She's close to you.
Yes.
She's close to her aunt.
Yes.
It's great that she has y'all to fall back on. And is her aunt here right now?
Yes.
How are you doing?
Dr. Phil, good to meet you. Have a seat. Renee, has she talked to you about this?
Yeah. Tara and I have been through hell and back with her in the last 2 years. And we had no idea why. It was really hard. It just breaks my heart. And I'm so proud of her for doing this right now. I was like, you have a voice and you're allowed to be heard.
I typically am very conservative about showing minors' faces in any kind of controversial situation, but in this situation, she wants to speak about this. If the people that know her support that, then I'm willing to do that, and I think she has the strength to do that. She is the very first reported victim of these sickening crimes to speak out. Next, Annalisa joins me and bravely tells me her story in her own words.
Coming up.
Come into the bedroom and try to catch something.
Did he stay in the room?
He kind of looked happy or aroused.
Did he come in when the three of you were naked?
And later, Annalisa returns to Russell Taylor's former house.
I saw the house and it just brought back memories. I feel traumatized.
We can do one of two things. We can close this door and drive you away, or you and I can do it together, and then it's behind you.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I am very in love with Kit Morris.
She's already married.
She wanted a divorce.
But obsessed with a country star.
I asked if he could take me home.
Anywhere in there did you think, I ought to check in on my husband and kids?
She was selling everything I owned in a garage sale.
You're serving your husband with a restraining order, and you've got "Marry Me, Kit Moore" painted on your window? What are you, 12?
And next week, is her survivalist boyfriend dangerous?
Did he kidnap you?
Yes. No.
If I didn't think I'd go to jail for it, I'd take it head off.
I thought he was the dangerous guy.
That's next week. The first identified victim of the Fogel sex scandal comes forward.
We wouldn't normally show the face of a victim of a sexual crime, but Annalisa and her mother were insistent that she wants to be a voice and a face for all victims. They say she has absolutely nothing to be ashamed of, refuses to hide her face, and wants to speak for every victim of every predator in America. I understand that you do want your face shown in this because you want to speak out publicly about that.
Yes, that is correct.
Tell me how you came to that decision.
I came to that decision because it's not okay what happened, and I just thought I'd reach out and just try to get not only myself help, but help other people.
Your point is you don't have anything to be ashamed of, and you're not ashamed of anything.
Yes.
So you've discussed this with your mother, right?
Yes.
You're in a single-parent home.
Yes.
We're here talking about a circumstance in which you have been victimized unknowingly at the time because you now understand that you were secretly video recorded, correct?
Yes.
Tell me the circumstance. When was this? Where were you? What was going on?
This was about 2 years ago, in the summer of 2013.
And you would have been
14 years old.
14 years of age, okay. We all know that Jarrett Fogel and Russell Taylor were very good friends, and in fact, Russell Taylor ran the Jarrett Foundation. And the house that you now know you were being recorded in was Russell Taylor's home, correct?
Correct.
What was the occasion by which you were in Russell Taylor's home? How did you meet him?
I met him.
We will not be disclosing the details of how they met, but as with many child victims, Annalisa became acquainted with Russell Taylor through typical grooming that predators use. She and other teenagers were lured to his home and plied with alcohol. Information about the other victims in the house is being withheld in order to protect their identities.
We spent about the whole summer there until it was time to go back to school.
And so the three of you were at that house in the summer drinking?
Yes.
And Russell was there?
Russell was there.
Okay. How did he seem when you met him?
He seemed okay at first. He seemed like a nice person, but as time progressed, it kind of got creepier and creepier.
Describe creepy to me. And what's creepy mean to you?
Like just, it's a weird feeling of something going on, but at the time I didn't fully understand that.
What did the three of you do there during the summer?
We would mainly stay at the house. We didn't go out much. The only time we did leave was to go to the liquor store where Russell took us.
You were 14, she was 14, this other friend was the same age?
Yes.
Okay. So, obviously, you couldn't buy liquor. Who was buying the liquor for you?
Russell was buying liquor.
So, he was buying liquor and giving it to you?
Yes.
When you guys were drinking, did he drink with you?
No.
He just gave you the alcohol?
Yes.
Did he encourage you to do it? Did he make drinks for you?
He's the one that bought the alcohol. He didn't really pour any, but he was there.
Was his wife there?
She wasn't really in the same room we were, but I can't picture if she was just upstairs or if she was actually at work.
Was Russell in the same room with you?
Yes, at times, but there was other times where me and my friends would go into another room.
And what were you drinking?
He bought us Smirnoff, beer.
So vodka and beer?
Yes, yes.
Did you guys drink to excess? I mean, did you get drunk?
Yes.
Like really drunk?
Yes.
Did you pass out? Not remember what all happened? What went on?
I don't remember all that what happened, but I do remember being very, very intoxicated.
Are you at all concerned of anything that may have happened when you were really drunk? Because you may or may not remember it?
I am a little concerned, but I can only hope that nothing happened. I don't think anything happened.
During the time that you were at this house during the summer, just in the normal course of things, there were times that you disrobed. You took showers.
Yes.
You changed clothes.
Yes.
You used the bathroom facilities.
Yes.
And you now know that what you thought was privacy was not private at all.
I did not know there were hidden cameras or anything, and I wouldn't have been okay with it. But by the rate he was talking to us and just kind of manipulating us, so we thought it was okay.
As you look back now, what was he doing that crossed boundaries?
Well, he was telling me that at 16, it was legal to have sex with anybody at any age. And he had me convinced to do that.
Having sex with him when you were 16?
Yes.
How does an adult bring that up to a 14-year-old girl?
He would just ask questions like openly, not really having a filter about anything.
What kind of questions would he ask you?
Coming up.
Did he get the three of you comfortable with walking around less dressed than you would be otherwise?
Yes.
When he got the three girls to relax those privacy boundaries, how far did that go?
And later.
This is where he used hidden cameras to violate your dignity.
Yes.
To violate your privacy, to violate your person.
Yes.
How do you feel about him doing that to you?
A A Dr. Phil exclusive. Michael Lohan and his estranged wife lose custody.
What is Don't you talk to her. Because I'm going to hurt you, Will. What are you for?
The video that authorities used as evidence.
Where are you heading?
The exclusive interview.
I am going to tell you what you need to do to get these kids back.
Michael Lohan.
Michael, that whole tape is domestic violence.
Sometimes you just snap.
You need to stop justifying that and just own it.
Monday on Dr. Phil. We now return to Dr. Phil's exclusive interview with the first identified victim of the Fogel sex scandal.
Russell Taylor, who is the executive director of the Jared Foundation, he was busted big time. They found 500 videos and pictures in his home. He has been charged with 7 counts of child porn production, 1 count of possession, a plethora of text messages where he talks not only about child porn, but bestiality.
You said child porn and bestiality. Did I hear you say that?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, some of these messages.
Pause.
As you look back now, what was he doing that crossed boundaries?
Well, he was telling me that at 16, it was legal to have sex with anybody at any age. And he had me convinced to do that.
Having sex with him when you were 16?
Yes.
How does an adult bring that up to a 14-year-old girl?
He would just ask questions like openly, not really having a filter about anything.
What kind of questions would he ask you?
He asked if I'd ever experienced an orgasm and just had me convinced to have sex with him at 16.
And was this an ongoing conversation?
It happened for one night is all I can remember.
Okay. How did he convince you that this was the thing to do?
He kind of knew how kids worked and what their minds did and how to move your way around it. At the time, I thought it was okay.
When he would then leave, did you 3 girls talk about this?
We never really talked more in depth about it because we thought, oh, well, he's buying us alcohol, he's letting us have fun, he's letting us party. When you're 14, you don't think of it as somebody setting you up. You're thinking of it as, oh, fun, you know, like
just a cool guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
With regard to this sex conversation, was he having this with the other 2 girls too?
He had it with the other friend.
He talked to her about it in your presence as well?
Yes.
Was she convinced?
I think she was, because she was kind of like me, clueless and felt brainwashed, really.
What you're talking about is what is referred to as grooming. This is what predators do. This is what sex molesters do. It's what pedophiles do. They groom their victims. You called it brainwashing. They get close to them. They program their thinking and make things seem no big deal, make it seem okay. It's a very premeditated manipulation that goes on with children, and at 14, you are a child. In looking back, is that what was going on
Absolutely.
At the time with you?
Absolutely.
And it sounds like during that time, he was able to tear down some of the boundaries of privacy.
Yes.
So when he got the 3 girls to relax those privacy boundaries, how far did that go?
He never did touch us, but you could tell he was kind of pushing the level more and more.
Did he get the 3 of you comfortable with walking around less dressed than you would be otherwise?
Yes.
Did he get you to walk around in bra and panties, or what became the norm that was created at the time?
When we were not drinking, we'd usually have all of our clothes on. But I remember the time that we were is when he'd try to make his move and come in and catch something or see something.
Did he?
He did.
Where would he walk in?
He would come into the bedroom. We never really just normally walked around with no clothes on, but he'd come in and try to catch something.
When he did, what was his reaction? What, did he just stand there? Did he stay in the room?
He kind of looked like happy or aroused. A normal person would say, "Oh, I'm sorry for walking in on you."
Did he come in when the three of you were naked?
Yes.
Would he stay there or would he leave?
He'd stay for about a minute or so, and then we'd shut the door.
You now know that he may have been in there for a minute, but everything was on tape.
Yes.
It was all being recorded. But it was your understanding that your images were passed between Russell and Jarrett, and that they went that far.
Yes.
And you don't know where else they went.
Absolutely.
Did he talk to you about Jarrett Fogel? Did he talk about his relationship with him?
He did. He had said that he worked for Jarrett Fogel, and I actually got really excited. I was like, wow, well, you know him and you work with him. I kind of want to meet him because it's exciting to meet a celebrity, but I never did meet Jarrett. I never did.
Was there a time during this grooming process that he ever convinced you to pose for him?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
Do you know of any girls that did pose?
I do not know of any girls that willingly posed.
Was there any sex going on in the house? Like boyfriends or coming over? And if so, was it possible that would have been caught on tape?
Yes, I think there was sex going on in the house, and I think it is very possible that that was caught on tape.
In looking back, do you know where the cameras were?
I had read that there was one in an alarm clock because one of the videos showed him adjusting the camera in the alarm clock. But I'm not sure where the other cameras are. I'm sure they were in the bedrooms, the bathrooms, about everywhere in the house.
Did he ever leave to go to work or anything, or was he always there?
He was always there.
Did you ever have any idea at the time you were being recorded?
No. I did not have any clue that we were being recorded.
When you heard that he was arrested, what did you think?
I didn't understand everything yet. I didn't know why someone would do that. I was more questioning it, but it upset me. It did.
What was your first gut level reaction?
I had to cry. That's all I could do was cry because I was scared.
Scared in what way?
Coming up.
So when you look at this, what comes to mind?
I see fear and sadness.
We now return to Dr. Phil's exclusive interview with the first identified victim of the Fogel sex scandal.
Jarrett had someone who was the head of his charitable foundation. This guy and Jarrett exchanged all kinds of pornography. The head of his foundation was engaged in really disgusting stuff. He tried to have sex with a woman's horse. So this is the kind of person that Jarrett had hired.
When you heard that he was arrested, what was your first gut level reaction?
I had to cry. That's all I could do was cry because I was scared.
Scared in what way?
I was scared that my pictures or any kind of video could have been on the internet or passed on around to other people. I was scared that people had seen me, and it was just an overwhelming feeling.
Since the arrest, have you heard from anyone in the family?
I've heard from Russell's wife.
How did you hear from her?
The Facebook Messenger. I'd asked her how she was, and I said I was sorry for everything. And now looking back, I don't know why I apologized But she messaged me not too long ago to ask me how I was doing, and I said I was good. And after all this, just a few days ago, I blocked her on Facebook because I just knew there wasn't something right with everything going on.
Have you read in the media or in any of the FBI reports that Russell says that she reviewed all the tapes?
I did not hear about that.
His statement is that she looked at all the tapes after they were made.
Oh, wow.
If that's true, how do you feel about that?
That really upsets me. I can't understand why somebody would let that happen to a child.
We reached out to Russell Taylor's wife regarding the allegation that she reviewed the hidden camera tapes, but we did not receive any response by our broadcast deadline. I want to be perfectly clear. This is only an allegation, and it is coming from Russell Taylor, an admitted child pornographer. She has not been charged with any crime. You feel violated?
Yes, very.
And what has this done to you now? How does this leave you mentally and emotionally at this stage of the game?
I have nightmares. I still have fears. I don't trust people the way I used to.
Do you blame yourself in any way?
I do.
How so?
A lot. I know now that that wasn't right for me to act that way. I knew it wasn't right to drink alcohol. I know it wasn't right to let someone see you in no clothes and to let somebody just talk to you that way. And I do blame myself a lot because I feel like I kind of fed into it by letting him talk to me that way.
Do you feel guilty because you enjoyed the attention?
Absolutely. I do. I beat myself up over it every day.
It's important that you understand something, and it's an unfair battle because you take a child that is emotionally not fully developed and you bring in a cold, calculating adult. And this adult has the power and uses that power to seduce the child, to ply the child with alcohol, to treat the child with such things as approval and acceptance and affection, and uses all of that currency to seduce that child in their mind. You are wrong to feel guilty about that. There are victims and there are perpetrators in crime. You were the victim. He was the perpetrator. This was not your fault.
Coming up, Annalisa returns to Russell Taylor's former house.
I sold the house and it just brought back memories. I feel traumatized.
We can do one of two things. We can close this door and drive you away, or you and I can do it together, and then it's behind you.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I am in love with Kit Morris.
She's married but obsessed with a country star.
I asked if he could take me home.
Anywhere in there did you think, I ought to check in on my husband and kids?
That's tomorrow. The first identified victim of the Fogel sex scandal comes forward.
We took Annalisa back to the house where she says she was violated by Russell Taylor. When we arrived, she broke down in tears. She wasn't sure she could even step out of the car and face the place where she says her nightmare began that fateful summer. What's going on?
I don't know. I sold the house and I don't know. It just brought back memories and I feel traumatized. I knew I couldn't handle seeing the house. I knew it.
Well, we can do one of two things. We can close this door and drive you away, or you and I can do it together, and then it's behind you, Because it's clearly a trigger. Because you've been traumatized, there's no question about it.
I'm gonna take the walk and do it. I'm gonna face the problem.
Let's do it.
Okay, I can do this.
Okay.
Here.
How long has it been since you walked past this house?
It's been a few years.
When you walked in this house, did you ever have any idea what it was going to come to?
I never had any idea, ever.
See, that's the whole point about being 14. 14, you can't see around corners. That's why I said you can't hold yourself responsible for this. So this is where you met Russell Taylor.
Yes.
This is where he victimized you.
Yes.
This is where he used hidden cameras to violate your dignity.
Yes.
To violate your privacy.
Yes.
What do you think about when you see this house?
I see fear and sadness.
And how do you feel about him doing that to you?
I feel angry and hurt. It upsets me.
What should a 14-year-old girl be doing?
A 14-year-old girl should just be spending time with family and having fun with friends.
Not having some perverted predator using and abusing them.
Yes.
And this was a house of abuse for you.
Yes.
What did he take from you in this house?
He took my happiness. He took my trust. Took my pride. Everything. I feel so low. I feel like nothing. This situation, it scares me and it's sad.
Do you know where the cameras were in there?
I do not.
You know, they were in the bedroom.
Yes.
They were in the bathroom. They were in living areas. Those moments you thought you were private. Those moments you thought, just getting out of the shower, somebody was watching. How sick was that?
It was so sick. It's disgusting.
Coming up.
And it's hard knowing that you have to live with it, that you were violated and taken advantage of.
Sleep. Remember when it welcomed you like a friend?
We now return to Dr. Phil's exclusive interview with the first identified victim of the Fogel sex scandal.
Yeah, when you think about all the times you came up and down this street, what's the difference now?
I've gotten a lot more mature and wise about situations. I know how to control my emotions and handle things better than I did.
You've learned a lot. And you were 14 then, you're 17 now, or you will be very soon. And you realize that what happened in here 3 years ago is still affecting you now.
Yeah. And it's hard knowing that you have to live with it, that you were violated and taken advantage of.
But that says everything about them and absolutely nothing about you. I mean, do you get that difference?
Absolutely, I do.
The only thing this says about you is who you are and what you are right now. And that is courageous enough to stand up here right now and say, you are sick people and you will not control my life. And you can look at me and say, you do what you did, but by God, I'm still here. Where are they?
In prison.
They're going to be there for a long time. They're going to live with that for the rest of their lives. They're going to be convicted felons and registered sex offenders. You know what you're going to be? You're going to be healthy and happy and wise and walking free. You ever heard that old saying, the best revenge is living well?
Yes, I have heard that.
Yeah. How about we just live well? What do you think?
That's awesome.
You know what that is there? That's just a house.
Yeah.
It's just bricks and sticks. They can't hurt you now. It's just bricks and sticks. Closed captioning provided by...
Most of Red Robin's sides are bottomless, which means they don't stop serving them until you wave the white napkin.
Red Robin. Yum.
Want to get something off your chest? Sign up for the drphil.com community and weigh in on your favorite episodes and share your personal stories with other community members. Plus, get started on your own blog to share your thoughts on the topics that interest you most. I'll be reading those message boards. Log on to drphil.com today.
I feel much better now. Like, I know that facing the problem itself, literally facing the problem, it hurt me at first, but I had to, I had to do it, or else I would have never felt better about it. And of course I'll need, like, extra help over it, but that helped a lot just by literally facing the problem.
Well, I'd rather you do it with me here.
Yes, absolutely.
Bricks and sticks. The only meaning it has is what you assign to it. The evil's gone from there, and we are going to get you help.
Thank you.
Know what I mean?
So much, yes.
All right. So glad to meet you.
I'm so glad to meet you. Thank you.
All right. Well, here's your folks down here. You really did great.
A lot of kids are going to be all right because of your story, Sissy. Love you.
Love you.
Love you, too.
I love you guys.
As a closing note, I want to thank the owners of this house and understand that it is no longer Russell Taylor's home. It is now the house and home of a wonderful family. The evil is gone, and love has taken its place. Russell Taylor has agreed to plead guilty to charges that he used hidden cameras in his home to make child pornography and shared those images and videos, some of them with Jared Fogle. Taylor faces 15 to 35 years in prison after admitting to 12 counts of sexual exploitation of a child and 1 count of distribution and receipt of child pornography. Taylor also must pay restitution to his victims. This story is a cautionary tale. Parents, use Annalisa's brave story so that you know what to look for in an adult who could potentially be victimizing or grooming your child. Understand that these people groom families as well as children. They prey upon those who are in need. They prey upon those who have a void, who are looking for some help. It's sad to say that we have to look hard at those who offer help in a difficult time, but the truth is we do. I don't want you to be paranoid. I just want you to be careful. For more information on signs to watch out for, go to drphil.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.